This is CLNS Radio, the home of Internet Sports Talk Radio.
This is a CLNSradio.com special edition broadcast.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome to CLNS Radio. My name is, of course, Chris McCarthy, and today is actually a very special day. We are continuing our weekly profile of Meet the Maine Red Claws, and this week it is actually a great honor and my pleasure to introduce Austin Ainge, who is the former head coach of the Maine Red Claws and is currently the director of player personnel for the Boston Celtics. Now, realistically, what sort of relationship do you have with the Maine Red Claws organization?
Well, our staff here picks their players and hires their coaches and trainers and all of that. So that obviously puts us in constant contact. And then on a personal level, I'm having coached there before, I'm still very good friends with most of the people there, obviously starting with Bill Ryan Jr., the owner, and DeJuan Eubanks, the president. So,
absolutely, and actually that leads me to my next question, which is, what would you say the difference is between, coaching and being involved in the front office operations of a professional basketball team such as yourself as director of player personnel for the Boston Celtics?
It's very different. Everyone kind of knows what a coach does, and but what I do now is I watch a ton of games, whether it's live or on video, and I watch a lot of college, a lot of NBA, a lot of European games, and I'm just evaluating talent, trying to pick the right players for primarily the Boston Celtics and then the Maine Red Claws as well. So those, it's a very different job, but it's still basketball, and it's a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Now, when you are scouting talent, okay, now what type of qualities do you specifically look for in a player per se, or you don't really look for any specific thing when you're just scouting talent?
You start with size and athleticism. That's the easiest thing to see. We can all kind of see that pretty quickly. And then you look for basketball IQ, the decision making. Do they know when to shoot, when to drive, when to pass, how to close out? All these things that you can teach techniques, but it's hard to teach anticipation and quick thinking and decision making and vision. These are things that can be improved on, but they're mostly innate. So I look for those type of things, and then after that I look for the fundamentals, dribbling, passing, shooting, and then we also look a lot at statistics, actual performance. So those are kind of the basic things you look for, and once you watch just thousands of games and spend so many hours and being around the NBA and the D-League, and, when you watch a player play, you can kind of go, it's almost innate. You just kind of get a quick little thing. All right, that guy is, an NBA player. That guy's a D-League player. That guy is, you get their kind of levels down, and then distinguishing between those is the challenging part.
Absolutely, and speaking of the talent, how does the talent on this year's Maine Red Claws team compare to some of the teams you coached during your coaching years with the Red Claws?
Yeah, it's hard to compare teams. You have to do it teams, not years, because you have in the D-League you have multiple teams in a given year. The roster turnover is just so that you have different guys coming and going all the time. I had a team at one point in the D-League that had multiple NBA guys, and then 2 weeks later you got guys that haven't ever played in the NBA and never will. So it's a roller coaster. In fact, right now this Maine team will play in the showcase tonight with significantly less talent than we had even 2 weeks ago, mainly because of injuries. Chris Wright is out with a concussion, and Fab Melo is also out with a concussion, and Shelvin Mack got called up by the Wizards and was starting for them a little while ago. He just actually got released, and we're hoping that he will rejoin the Red Claws soon. So these are, these are things that happen. It's just a constant revolving door.
Absolutely, and that actually, I'm actually curious, how actively, involved, I guess, would you say that you are when it comes, I guess, to regarding the possible rotations or playing time, even lineups for the Red Claws? Are there?
I leave that up to Coach Taylor. The only guys that I really concern myself with their playing time is our Celtic players on assignment. So Fab Melo and Chris Joseph, when they're before we let him go, those guys, I would kind of tell them what they need to do as far as their playing time goes. But the rest of the guys, I let Coach Taylor decide and do whatever he feels is best. But you kind of know it's when I pick the players, so you can kind of form your rotations by the players you pick as well. So it's a partnership.
Absolutely. And that now, just a couple more questions. Again, Austin, I greatly appreciate your time. Now, what would you say the most challenging part of your job is?
Well,
if you had to pinpoint it.
The most personally challenging part is all the travel. The travel is it's a lot, and I'm away from my family a little more than I'd like to be. But as far as the performance, it is hard to. I would say evaluating European prospects is very difficult because it's a very different game over there, and statistics don't transfer well. And you'll go watch a game, and the player you're evaluating for the NBA draft will play 4 minutes, and you have to try to make determinations based on that. So I think that's why you see a lot of draft busts that come from Europe. It's hard to get a pinpoint on them, and it's hard to get a great feel.
Absolutely, that's great stuff. Now, I do have to ask you, what type of dynamic, I guess, is it working, in a father-son type of relationship when it comes to business?
Yeah, well, I think a lot of businesses, it's difficult. I think in this situation, for me, it's not. My dad and I have had so many different discussions and debates and arguments about basketball and basketball players my entire life. It's almost just like a continuation of the dinner table. It's basically, these are the discussions. Would you trade this guy for that guy? Should we draft this guy or that guy? Should we, who should play, and who's, all these type of conversations are the ones that we have on a daily basis. And it obviously the stakes and the pressure are much higher, but my dad is he's very calm and cool with that stuff, and it's a very easy working environment. Along with the other guys I work with, it's not uncomfortable at all. It's actually a lot of fun.
Excellent. And then, how often are you in contact with Coach Mike Taylor and the other Maine Red Claw coaching staff in particular?
I talk with Coach Taylor every day. Every day, talk with him, and I think I've seen every game this year, not live, but I catch them on my different travels around the world. I'll pull up the laptop and watch the Red Claws play on the internet, and that's one of the great things that D-League has, is those games streamed live in HD. It makes it easy to follow from afar. And I've also been up there, and I talk with agents every day about the players on our team or potential players for the Red Claws and the Celtics. It ends up being mostly the same agents I'm talking with, so they'll call me and say, hey, I've got this guy for the Celtics, I've got this guy for the Red Claws, and and we just kind of go down the list and talk to them.
Absolutely. And my final question is, how, you sort of alluded to it already, but, how many games, would you say you watch of the Red Claw games, and to keep an eye on, obviously, the affiliate players and possible call-ups and so on?
Yeah, no, like I said, I watch every Red Claws game, especially when Fab is down there playing. We're very invested in his future. We think he's got a bright one, and so I watch and take notes, and I'll send the coaching staff some ideas I have for what they should be telling Fab and how he can improve, and that's kind of the way it works. With the other players, I make some suggestions to Mike, but all the final decisions are up to him with the coaching and everything, and he's done a great job. He's a very good coach, and that's part of our relationship as well. We're evaluating coaches, so it's all part of trying to help the Celtics better in the long run and help these players and coaches reach their dreams of working in the NBA.
Absolutely. Excellent stuff, Austin. I do appreciate your time. I know you're extremely busy. I wish you, the Boston Celtics, of course, and, of course, the Maine Red Claws, all the luck in the world, and, hope to bring, Banner 18 home. Thank you so much.
Hey, anytime. Good talking to you.
Thank you. Have a wonderful day.
Right. Bye-bye.
Bye. All right, everyone. That was Austin Ainge, former head coach of the Maine Red Claws, and currently the director of player personnel for the Boston Celtics. Very interesting interview. He sort of, I always was curious, what scouting entails and that type of thing, and, with the difference between the college American players and then the European players. So he offered some incredible knowledge. Now, as he did allude to, tonight, the Maine Red Claws, which is Tuesday, January 8th, so they are playing in the NBA D-League Showcase versus Tulsa, and that's at the Reno Event Center. And then tomorrow, they'll also be playing at this Reno Event Center in the NBA D-League Showcase in versus Bakersfield. But if you want to see the Maine Red Claws live, you can. Their next home game is Saturday, January 12th, and they'll be playing Springfield at 7 p.m. Eastern Time. All you have to do is call 207-210-06655. 207-210-6655. And you can also listen to all their games on WJJB 96.3 FM, as well as Austin alluded to. You can, they webcast all of their games as well online. So check them out. Red Claws are off to a phenomenal season, and again, this is part of the CLNS Radio Meet the Maine Red Claws broadcast. My name is Chris McCarthy, and tune in next week to see who we will profile next. But this week, Director of Player Personnel for the Boston Celtics, Austin Ainge. Thank you. Have a wonderful day.